Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to the video that I have here for you guys. So today I'm going to be talking about Uncharted 4. I actually just beat the game recently and I wanted to talk about everything from the graphics to the controls to the gameplay, everything about it, the pacing, things that I like, things that I don't like, similar to how I did with Star Fox Zero on the Nintendo Wii U. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll have a link to that in the description below. And anytime I finish a game, I'll make sure to do something like this for you guys. So let's just talk about the first thing that anybody talks about when you bring up Uncharted. Graphics. How are the graphics in this game? Well, the graphics are spectacular. They're nothing short of breathtaking. They are so good in so many different places. There's a few areas where it looks kind of tacky at times, but those are really far and few in between. Very far and few in between. The game is luscious with vibrant grass and just great looking water and great detail on Nathan Drake's face, Elena, all of the people, Sully. They just did a really good job with making sure that this game look the best that it can possibly look for the time they were given and the money they were given. Obviously they were given a lot of time and a lot of money to make this type of game. A lot of people are wondering why other PlayStation 4 or Xbox One games can't look to this level, and it's really simple. Most developers aren't going to be given the time and the money to do what they did. And another thing is that Uncharted, as far as the single player goes, is a very basic game when it comes to the gameplay. There's no upgrading, there's no loot collecting other than like the little treasures that you get. The graphics just look amazing. If I had to give a score just particularly to the graphics alone, it'd be 11 out of 10, 10 out of 10. They are amazing. They are breathtaking. They are so good. There's not enough good things that I can say about the graphics in the game. Naughty Dog, they are masters in their craft when it comes to graphics. I would love to see what these guys can do on a PC with the latest like GTX 1080 or whatever that just came out, the highest graphics card. Oh my gosh, they could probably make a game that would just blow our minds as far as graphically. Even some of the spots in Uncharted looks sometimes photorealistic. I remember one time there was like an underwater scene. I'm not sure if I'll be able to have it or if I recorded it, but there was an underwater scene and I swear like Nathan Drake looked like it was like a real scuba diver finding treasure at the beginning of the game. So it's one of those things to where I just have to give them props for that. They made a great looking game and I really love that about the game. But one of the big things that I don't like about the game, so going from one thing to another, so let's move to the gameplay. The gunplay in the game is great. It is very good. It feels good to pop out and shoot and get into cover, maneuver around, dodge roll. All of that stuff feels pretty good. It's 30 frames per second, but it's 60 in multiplayer. Definitely feels a lot more responsive in multiplayer than it does in single player. But that's not to say the single player is bad or anything like that. It's still really good and feels great to shoot people. But my main issue with this game is the pacing and the lack of actual depth into the combat. The combat feels great and it's good, but there's not a lot of depth outside of just popping out and shooting then just moving to the next spot. I would have really liked to see them do some type of upgrading or skill trees or something that you can do to do a little bit more to your guns, more damage, something like that to help or supplement the gameplay. Just because it just feels like at times it can get kind of boring just popping out and shooting and not having anything else that you're doing. I know they're going for more of a realistic feel, but if you play the game, it's not really realistic at all, some of the stuff that they're doing, especially the platforming. I'm not even gonna call it that. I'm gonna call it the auto jumping that you do in that game and stuff like that. But moving on from the shooting, it's the pacing of the game. There are so many slow parts in this game to where you're just like looking at books really slowly, flipping over pages really slowly. You're just walking really slowly. You're just auto climbing really slowly. I mean, there's chapters where there's like no gunplay at all. You're just auto jumping and auto swinging from place to place. And to me, it just seems like padding. They're trying to pad the game out to make it longer as far as that final hours count for those review scores. And then the puzzles. The puzzles in the game aren't good. They're not really good at all. And I'm not huge on Legend of Zelda puzzles, and those blow away the puzzles in Uncharted. So I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to vary up the gameplay a little bit. They're trying to make sure that it's not just all action, shooting that can get repetitive, because there is no real actual upgrading or more depth within the actual game of the shooting. There's no leveling or anything like that, so they feel that they have to vary it up. The only problem is that when they do vary it up, it's not very fun to just auto jump from place to place to place. That's not fun at all. Now, when you have enemies around and you're auto jumping, then swinging down and striking them and hitting them and shooting from there, that's fun. But just as its own, as a platforming game, it's horrible compared to other real platforming games, because this isn't a real platforming game. So that's the one thing that I would like to see them, if they ever do make another Uncharted, which I doubt they will with Nathan Drake and that. I do think that they can take the name and put it in a whole different time period or something like that and say, okay, here is Uncharted like rebooted. I can understand what they're trying to do with the pacing and the puzzles, but to me it falls just a little flat. So let's talk about the story. It's good. This is the best movie I've ever watched, or one of the best movies I've ever watched. If you don't like sitting there and like watching that type of stuff, or just using context sensitive things, then it can get a little grinding. And it did get a little grinding to me at times with the story, but I do feel that it's good. It is a fantastic story. It's well written. The humor is really witty. The characters all do great performances. There's nice little Easter eggs and stuff all put into there. So yes, I do like the story. I do like the ending. I thought the ending was okay. Some people were a little disappointed with it, but I wasn't disappointed with the story-wise. I think that it wraps things up nicely, although I will say that the final boss battle is stupid. The final boss battle is dumb, and it was, I think it's a cop-out. It was a cop-out because it's just like context sensitive. I'm not going to show you guys like, you know, what it actually is. I don't want to have any spoilers there, but it's not like this, okay, oh my gosh, this epic gunfight. There is some epic gunfights leading up to that, but the actual final boss and what you do is just you pressing a button here, pressing a button there. It's like you're watching an interactive movie, some type of Dragon's Lair type thing, and I did not like that at all. But it was satisfying at the end, and I did feel like, okay, this is a proper closure to the Uncharted series. So really happy for Naughty Dog. They announced that this game sold 2.7 million units in its debut week, digital and physical combined. I think the sales are well warranted, and I think that this game is really a great game. And one of the big reasons why I do think this game is great is not necessarily because of the single player, but I think more because of the multiplayer. The multiplayer is 900p, 60 frames per second, and the gunplay just feels great. And that's what Uncharted is about. Uncharted is about the gunplay. Uncharted is about the jumping and doing the cool jumps and swings and all that, and the multiplayer has all that, plus it has all of the upgrading and stuff that I would like to see in the single player. Naughty Dog says, okay, fine, we don't have that in the single player, well, you got that in the multiplayer, and I think that's what makes this game amazing. Without this multiplayer, it would have been how I felt about Uncharted 1, and I didn't really like Uncharted 1 too much. There was no multiplayer, it was just that single player with no upgrades, whereas Uncharted 2, I liked Uncharted 2, not necessarily the single player, but the multiplayer in Uncharted 2 was amazing in my opinion, and I think this brings back that spirit of that Uncharted 2 multiplayer, which Uncharted 3 also had it, but I didn't like Uncharted 3 as much. So for me, I think that's what wraps this whole package up to a nice, neat, great game. It's the multiplayer combined with the single player, the atmosphere, the story. There's some pacing issues. There's some problems with the puzzles being a little bit lame. And without the multiplayer, I would give this game like a 7 out of 10. But with the multiplayer, it bumps it all the way up to me to about an 8.5 to 9-ish out of 10. I don't have any solid score just because this isn't a formal review, but it is a great game. And there are discounts already going on Amazon, I think for $47. So if you haven't picked it up yet and you want to play multiplayer, like I said, if you are not a multiplayer person, then I would give this game a rent. If you are a multiplayer guy, then I would definitely say go out and buy it because the multiplayer is good and it's fun. All right, guys, that basically wraps it up for my thoughts on Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Make sure you hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything on Uncharted 4, as I have some big announcements with that game and more right here on PlayerEssence. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.